better we take turns. So I will become positive, I'll come back, then you become positive, you come back. So I think the biggest weapon we have for this medicine shortage is humanity, this feeling of sharing, right? It's not a time to point fingers. It is not. It is time to join hands.
热情、积极、充满爱心，非常想做点什么去回馈社会，是上海和睦家医院的尼泊尔籍医生阿思势在采访中给我留下的最深刻的印象。在现在这个特殊时期，和所有的医护一样，阿思势医生也冲在了拯救生命的第一线。虽然平日里他是一名外科医生，如今却常常驻扎在医院的急诊室，帮助处理一些不那么紧急的病患。阿思势医生告诉我，现在病患增多，医护们呢却阳性减员。在这场骤然打响的战斗当中，同事们必须相互扶持，坚守岗位，尽一切可能救人。
So we're just basically taking the utmost care we can. The nursing staff are there. We take sort of like try to cover for each other, try to cover even sometimes other departments. There have been regular outpatient doctors who are now covering the emergencies, the fever clinics, as surgeons and orthopedicians. We're also helping to take turns in the emergency room to take care of the less urgent but not COVID-related cases like suturing and doing all the bandage work and so on. Just trying to help each other, trying to cope with the flow. But of course, you have to understand this. The whole time we have lesser and lesser manpowers, and people are coming back to work the minute they can, despite whatever the status of their antigen. So in a way, it's we always were joking initially. So it's better we take turns. So I will become positive, I'll come back, then you become positive, you come back, someone else can become positive, and so on. So frankly speaking, I would have gone home right now. Perfect time. My daughter is on holidays, and then the regular patient flow is lower, but then the only reason I'm still there is I feel obligated that I have to support the department and my colleagues. And it'll be a very wrong time to leave at this very critical moment where we can, I think, all help.
坚守岗位是医生的使命所在。阿思势医生简单的一句话，再一次让我们感受到了白衣天使们的可爱和可敬。但除了坚守岗位，在采访中，阿思势医生更让我感动的，其实是他身上的那股积极乐观的劲儿。疫情3年，人们的生活或多或少发生了变化，环境的转变、压力的突袭，让不少人情绪起伏，甚至有些怨言。但消极解决不了问题。阿思势医生说，越是紧要关头，我们越要齐心协力，积极应对。
I think we just have to make the best of the situation and go for it. I mean, there is going to be some collateral damage. The main point now is how we try to minimize those damages as much as we can. I always have been a big believer of sharing, working together, togetherness, Next door neighbor, who's an elderly couple, told her the other day, this is still negative. I told her, if it comes to a point where you guys are positive, I will do everything I can, almost like a son, to make sure that we get you over this. So this is a feeling I have for all my local residents here. I mean, this is a time to hold hands and really go through this, and supplies and everything. There's shortages, of course. The government, I'm sure, is doing their best to speed up the supplies. But from what we have with each of us, we can definitely share, right? So that would be my word of advice. In the beginning of this, I got a bunch of medications, and then I sending it to people who are asking for it, like Samsung, right? Sending it to neighbors, sending it to friends I know. I think the biggest weapon we have for this medicine shortage is humanity, this feeling of sharing. It's not a time to point fingers. It is not. It is time to join hands.
的确，面对疫情防控的新形势，我们必须齐心协力，才能共度难关，也可以由此防止别有用心的人造谣抹黑、分化挑拨。对于中国的这一波疫情，部分外媒极度兴奋，上蹿下跳，不遗余力地描绘中国的人道主义悲剧，并妄言中国的动态清零政策失败， 其实防疫政策换挡后，不可避免的会有一个适应的过程。欧美国家对此并不陌生，当他们放开防控措施时，也曾遭遇过一波疫情海啸。但个别外媒双标本性难改，对本国的防疫乱象避而不谈，刻意炒作中国的疫情防控措施。
So, in all fairness, I must say the first wave, when the initial, at that time called as the new coronavirus 2019, right? When it came out, the move made by China was, there's no arguments. I will not accept any secondary arguments that what China did was what it had to do. And it succeeded. We saved a lot of people, and at that time, that strictness and that tightness was very, very necessary. And China has been very, very successful in trying to ward it off. So in a way, I felt very safe being in China, because we're in this safety bubble, right?
Yeah.
But my worry was always like, at one point we have to get exposed. There's no way this thing looks like it's going away. Right? It's gone from the original strain to Delta to Omicron, different variants of Omicron. And in a way, it's good that the Omicron strains appear to be getting weaker and weaker, right? Or at least not causing as much damage to a non-immunocompromised patient. I believe it's partly to do with the world stage, partly to do with the fact that the Chinese New Year is coming up, right? Partly to do with the fact that we prepare, and partly this is to do with the amount of vaccinations that people have got. At one point, I knew that we had to get exposed to the virus. We have to come out into the world and see, okay, what are we made of, right? And once you go through that initial phase of, this waves, and then finally it settles down, we're going to be in the open again.
阿思势医生的言语之间透露出他对中国抗疫的信心和对中国形象的维护。他在采访中告诉我，他和大家一样，呼吸着同样的空气，走同样的路，吃同样的饭，感觉自己有着一颗中国心。阿思势出生在尼泊尔加德满都的一个医生家庭，受父亲的耳濡目染，从小就乐于帮助他人。2003年，他来到复旦大学求学，毕业后先后在华山医院和和睦家医院工作。作为一个外科医生，阿思势深知血液的重要性。从18岁起，他就年年献血。经过多年的筹备，2017年，他创立了上海血液中心志愿者服务的外籍志愿者团队 Bloodline 血缘。
Another time it really affected me was when I was doing my internship in a pediatric surgery, and we were operating on a kid I was helping, and the child needed blood, so there was no blood. So I scrubbed off the table, I went down to the blood bank, gave blood, and came back up and started going into surgery again. And that was such a fulfilling feeling, There was also a French girl who came visiting in Shanghai, and she busted her liver, broke it, she was bleeding internally. So while we were doing surgeries, I made a call out for people to come and donate blood. And more than 80 people rang my phone nonstop that day on surgery. So I was like, this world is a beautiful place. There's still a lot of people who want to help, So let's use that into something of humanity and giving back to the community. And that's where we created Bloodlines. So what Bloodline does is basically three things. One is we do huge community blood drives. One of them is for children with cancer. One is just a community blood drive, and we give all of that blood to Shanghai. Second thing we do is we are on a standby for anyone, local or expat, who needs blood. So someone who needs blood can find blood, they can reach out to us. And the third and the most important is changing the mindset, public awareness. Blood donation is not like something you come in, you stick a needle, you say thank you, you get a certificate and leave. No, we want to make it almost like a trendy thing to do. It's a community. We come together, we have like a little party. This year, April 3, right? I was donating blood the last day before the lockdown. I donated the blood the first day after the lockdown. And this year, I've donated more than 12, 13 times. So my principle has always been no one should suffer from the lack of blood. No one. Not a child, not a healthy person, not a mom, not a grandmother, No one. So, this is the least we can do.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think everyone who watches this interview will be inspired. We should do more for each other, for the community, for the city. Donating blood is a good starting point.
Yeah. So thanks for having me. The thing is, we want this interview to at least motivate a few people to give back.
It will.
You know, it can be through blood, it can be through sharing, it can be just going there and helping an elderly neighbor. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, you have to make your stand. Life is so much more than about yourself. It's so much about others and a little bit about yourself.